Well, as you can see here beside me, I've got the remnants of what's left of my gear that I'm packing for my next adventure in the next few days. Um, I started looking through all the videos that I haven't finished for the Trans-America Trail. I'm behind. I'm on day 22 now. Not sure if I'm going to finish before. Yeah, I'm just not going to finish. But I did want to talk about one thing. I started looking through all the stuff that I needed to publish before I left on this trip, and I thought the one thing, if I don't do it before I leave, I'm going to leave it out, is this guy right here. Um, I've been wanting to talk about the cameras that we used on the Trans-America Trail for quite some time, and you'll recognize these sticks, but you might not recognize the camera. And this is not it. This is my this is my camera. This is just a little sack I keep from scratching the lens. Um, this is my DJI. And true story, I tried to talk Richard into getting the latest, not this one. This is pretty old. I think this is like 3 or 4 years old. But DJI has a fantastic camera out now. And I've had such a great experience with this camera. When he started talking about cameras, I was like, man, you need to get the DJI. You need to get the D. And he was talking. I can't remember what he was talking about at the time, but he said Insta360. And I said, no, man, that's it's a waste of time. It's a whole lot of editing. It's this, it's that. It's got that warped fisheye lens. And he started talking about a camera that was much like this, a modular camera, one of their models. And that's what I want to talk about today. Is the camera that we use looks very similar to this, but it's modular. It has the processor on this side, battery on the bottom, and the actual camera on this side. And it's not what you think. And I was so impressed with the cameras that I wanted to talk about them today. And just for the folks that are thinking about getting a camera, please don't buy a GoPro. Whatever you do, get anything else. Stop buying GoPro. I think they need to be out of business. And the reason specifically is companies like this that are actual innovators. GoPros capture the market. They're like all the other fat cats out there that have got so much market share that they don't care about innovation anymore. And this is what they give to their customers every time they sell them a camera and it screws up. They don't fix the problems they have. They don't innovate. They just suck. So stop buying GoPro and let's talk about the Insta360. It's not what you think.
So you can't do a review video without the obligatory unboxing, and this is actually what made me think I need to finish this and do this before I leave on this next adventure. Just by seeing this video, I was like, man, I need to talk about this. I've been meaning to talk about these cameras for a while, and I've only talked about them mostly in person, just because I don't have these cameras. Richard bought 2 of these cameras, one for my bike and one for his.
I was like, man, this is a little bitty. There we go. So,
Oh, yeah.
and an invisible stick.
Did you have an invisible stick for the other one?
Yeah, it came in the kit. It was like, well, I had to get the stick came with it because for like $30 more, I got the case, and I didn't want to have to buy a case.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So in order to get the case and all that crap,
And as you can see from this image, the whole setup is modular. So in other words, there's basically 3 pieces to make this camera work. And you can substitute the standard lens for the 360 lens, which is, I think, why people get really confused when you say Insta360. In fact, I did too. When Richard mentioned it to me, I did not know they had a standard kit. And this 1RS is their standard kit that you can supplement with a 360 lens. In fact, it just clips right on. And although I'm not a big fan of the 360 cameras, if you have a need for it, it's pretty amazing. It takes a good bit more work. First, you've got to edit the footage of the 360 cam, not the Insta360. The Insta360 is the brand name. Don't get that confused. So when you slip the 360 module onto the Insta360 camera, it turns it into a 360-degree camera, and it's amazing. But it has a lot of downsides. The biggest thing, I think, for most people is that to use the footage, you have to use their software to edit the footage, because guess what? Nobody else makes freaking software to edit uh, camera footage that surrounds, 360-degree footage. So you've got to edit before you use it. And which is, if you have a project that calls for that 360-degree footage, then, I don't want to talk anybody out of it, but it's for the people like the people, just standard people that aren't going to be using the camera for something like that. I think it's more of a gimmick than anything else. Sure, you capture everything, but I want to talk about later how you can capture everything with this stick and how that stick has transformed the way I film now. I showed you in the beginning that stick that is mounted to the bike, and that's basically how we filmed. It wasn't as fluid as as I would have liked, but I think if you concentrate a little bit more on the movements of the camera, it would be easier. It's all mounted to a ram mount and a ball that's it's kind of either stuck really solid or it's very loose and very unstable. So that became a problem. But like I said, if the goal is to capture the image, and you're not concerned about what the image looks like, if you're okay with a fisheye, and some people are, some people it doesn't bother them. They see a bike riding by or they see a deer running out in the road. You capture the whole thing. But yeah, so Insta360 is the brand name. They make a fantastic action camera. Before we even start talking about that fisheye lens, which has some other unique problems with it, but I really like this One RS setup for a number of reasons. The stability is over the top. I could not believe the images that this camera was getting on the end of a selfie stick, fully extended, just bouncing around in the air, and yet it still stabilized the image. It's crazy. And, my DJI has good stabilization. Mine was the first DJI Osmo Action. The Osmo 3 is out. It's even better than mine, and I'm not sure how it compares to the Insta360. This one particular model, yeah. In fact, I even looked online and found the One RS by itself that you can purchase. It's $200, which is crazy to me, considering that the GoPros are still $350 and up, $400 for a substandard camera. Back to what I was saying earlier about the GoPros and how horrible they are. Yeah, they're beautiful images if the camera stays on. Their battery issues, their overheating issues, they've had so many issues over the past few years. I still own a GoPro. I still own the last innovative camera that they made. And it's been about a decade since they've done anything special. And they've just kind of been putting out the same crap, the same broken crap for years. And that's why I push, don't buy GoPro. If you've ever been around me and started talking about cameras, I always say the same thing. Don't buy a GoPro. It's a big mistake. You can get so much more camera for the money with something else. And I'm not saying buy the cheap Chinese stuff, even though everything's made in China. But there's some Chinese brands out there that are kind of crappy. Anything probably under $150, you're probably risking your money. Might as well just buy a cheap cell phone, in other words. But yeah, there's some really good cameras on the market, and pretty much everything is better than a GoPro. Sometimes, if you discount the image, sometimes the cheap Chinese crap is more stable than the GoPros. Their images probably not quite as good, but yeah, they spend a lot of money on the sensor, and that's it. With all that said, I love this camera. You can go back and look at any of my footage, and you can pretty quickly figure out the good and the bad. The first day and a half, I think I was filming with the DJI, and then I got to the point where I was like, man, the quality of the image is just so much better with this other camera, because I was looking at both footage. I was looking at both camera footages every day, because I would take the footage. We charge the batteries overnight. And I would take the footage and transfer them over to my laptop, or at least a hard drive. And while I was doing it, I was making sure everything was recording properly, and I couldn't believe the difference. You know, the DJI, the first model DJI that came out, is a pretty good camera. I mean, it's top notch, at least for the time. Great stabilization, great images, rock solid. And then I started looking at these Insta360s, and better image, better stabilization, better battery life. Just everything just kind of came together, and that's why I just wanted to tell you guys about this. And go over and check out. I'll put a link below for that $200 camera. I'm not sure what it all comes with. You might want to buy a bracket, but I would definitely prod you, even if you've got a camera that you like right now and you want a good selfie stick. That invisible stick that it comes with, the is on Amazon now for $22. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, geez, I got to have it. I love that selfie stick. And if you mount it to your handlebars, it's got a little, it's got a threaded screw bottom. So you can screw the selfie stick onto your handlebars. And that's pretty much how I film now. No more helmet cams. Um, I keep, I keep a camera on the adventures. I keep a camera mounted to the handlebar. And anytime something comes up, I just grab it, turn it on, and grab it and film it. You know, and if I need to twist the camera around, that's usually pretty easy too. Just as easy and much less painful than helmet cams. So anyway, highly recommend the Insta360. Don't think it's a 360-degree camera, because the One RS, unless you buy that 360 module, it's not 360 degrees. It's a standard, fantastic action camera package in standard format. Goes up to 4K. Incredible footage, replaceable lens covers, easy to put a microphone into. Just all around great camera. And yeah, I love it.